Year after year, more than ever before, we see new models of the iPhone or any other really phone coming out, and get all excited. Despite the subtle differences between each model, the steep prices that are tagged for them, strangely, we keep seeking for that new model. Then by the time we get that new model, we try to rationalize our decisions, thinking that this newer model is actually better. Even, to be honest, not every year it's this case. This trick we play in our brain is what is known as the appeal to novelty fallacy. So before we dig into this fallacy, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, so we can continue to feed you nuggets of gold on brain and behavior. As mentioned earlier, this fallacy is when you feel something is better or superior to something older or more established. The bias itself shows the inherent tendency for us to be drawn to novel experiences, ideas. While no single individual can be credited with this discovery of this bias, there are countless studies that have been done on this phenomenon. One study in 2000 looked at a group of participants and asked them to rate their experiences of new and existing brand extensions. The study found that participants perceived new brand extensions as more appealing and accepted them at a higher rate than established brands, despite not having any real rational reasoning behind it. Another study done in 2006 looked at the fallacy, where they got participants in the research to report their affective experiences throughout the day, which when they had to indicate whether those experiences were positive or negative. According to the study, novel experiences, or newer ones, positively influenced participants' reported affective experiences, leading to a more positive response to those said novel experiences. So as you can see, this is quite a universal bias that exists in everything we experience, from products to just even our experiences as a whole. We can see it within our relationships, work, lives, purchases. Take, for example, an organization that implements new management strategies solely because they feel like those management strategies are trendy or the new thing that people or other companies are doing. Now, while that strategy might be effective, it doesn't necessarily mean it is applicable or relevant for said company. So adopting such strategies without really considering whether or not they're actually effective for your own company would not be the greatest decision. It would mean overhauling a lot of money and resources trying to change things. That's just not a really great decision. Same can be seen with a recruiter dismissing an experienced candidate for a job in favor of a recent graduate because he or she perceives that novelty as a sign of fresh ideas. Consumer behaviors are also heavily influenced by this appeal to novelty fallacy. Every year, as I mentioned at the start of the video, we are introduced to new phones, computers, and movies with slightly tweaked styles, patterns, and colors, but eagerly embracing these newer products without really having a distinguishable difference between them end up creating a saturated market of, subpar quality products. But the problem is we actually end up opting into all of this just because we feel like new is better. So what is the reason for this appeal of something new? Well, for one, new experiences and novelty are innately appealing to us, as pretty evident. We're always seeking to gain new experiences in ways that may be different from the past. This is because novel experiences give a sense of excitement and it stimulates our brain's reward system, resulting in positive feelings and associations. Secondly, we tend to rely on our past experiences to teach us about what works and what doesn't. Although we don't really think about the reason why an older solution may have not worked, perhaps we applied them incorrectly, perhaps timing wasn't right. To feel like we have some sense of control over lives, which relates back to the illusion of control fallacy, something that we talk about in another video, we also want to believe that a novel solution might be better than what we've had or been doing because we think that it's a new way to move forward. Then there's the evolutionary adaptation of novelty. Throughout human history, adaptability and innovation have been crucial for survival. Our ancestors' ability to adapt to changing environments, embrace new tools, develop new strategies to survive, this allowed them to thrive. And in a way, that is embedded in our way of doing things. So as such, when it comes to novelty or seeking for something new, it's almost ingrained within our blood to try to do so. And then finally, there's also media, which plays a part in this. Constant bombardment of new trends, new products, new things to take on gives us a sense of FOMO, which we talk about in another video, or the fear of missing out. And especially with its social media, which amplifies this, we see everyone else having these new products or doing these new trends, so we feel like we might be missing out if we aren't on top of this. We might think this is just how the world is, but it is important to know about this fallacy, as it can often lead to overlooking the value and merits of established and familiar options. We assume that something that works, but might be old, should be thrown to the wayside because something new is out, and maybe that thing is better, even if it may not be. This prevents us from really remaining effective in something that already works, and instead waste time and money on something that is simply new. It can also lead to impulsive decision-making. We don't take into consideration whether what we are getting is of higher quality, instead just opt in blindly with the false belief that what we're getting is better, when in reality it may not be. A sole focus on novelty can prevent us from understanding and appreciating tradition and history more deeply. Rather than relying solely on novelty, we should learn to critically evaluate the actual merits and qualities of something. Critical thinking is so lost in today's age that it is important to really analyze whether what we're trading the old for is actually worth the cost. In other words, is that new thing actually going to do something more significantly better for us with all the effort, time, and money that's actually spent? Also, we should be aware of marketing and advertising's role in leveraging novelty. We should question the motivations behind what they're trying to sell to us. Is it actually a better product, or are they just trying to get more money? Pay attention to how you're being programmed to believe this new shiny trend or thing fits into your life. Consider your specific needs and preferences when evaluating new ideas or products. In the end, develop a balanced view that recognizes both the value of novelty and the importance of established things. The old may be less relevant, but there's something ultimately to learn from history. The appeal for something new has both positive and negative consequences. On one side of the coin, it drives innovation, progress, and economic growth. The pursuit of novelty fuels creativity, encourages entrepreneurship, and leads to technological advancements that we have today. However, excessive novelty seeking can lead to a throwaway culture, creating more waste than necessary. We quickly discard things because we think they don't work and are not worth expending our time to really use or keep. This mentality can lead to environmental issues, resource depletion, and just generate a whole lot of waste. And beyond that, this mentality in itself can trickle down into everything else from our relationships. This may be one of the reasons why we see so many people unwilling to stick around through difficult times in their relationships, their jobs, all because they have their hope and mindset that there's something new and better. What ends up happening from this is that we fail to appreciate what we do have, and instead of remaining in the present, we look to the future out of this misplaced hope that there will always be something better. So if you like this video, subscribe to this channel so we can continue to help you mine the gold in mind.